Hey, welcome to part two. Hey, welcome back to part two. The provision given in Malachi 3:17 that the Lord will spare his jewels as he spareth his own son that serveth him. So this is the response in faith, love, and obedience of those who will escape all things which will come upon the earth and be part of that bridal company. So the Aquila comet, we have covered it before. Let's recap briefly. Starting at the right wing of the eagle, then into Cygnus, David's harp, Hercules, now entering into Corona Borealis. Then going down to the serpent at the time of the Antichrist crowning, and now in between December 15th and the 30th, it's going to be within the main asterism lines of Corona Borealis. I believe the Lord is both showing us the promise of that victory crown, but also instructing us to hold fast to what we have. December 19th, Comet K2 at perihelion. Comet C 2017 K2 Pen stars, K2 in short, having entered the constellation Pavo, peacock, or the peafowl, from the previous constellation, the Judgment Altar of Ara, comes closest to the Sun tomorrow, December 19th, at perihelion. The fiery coal from the Judgment Altar, provided it maintains its strength and brightness, may mark a loud midnight cry and an accompanying shaking true to its current position. So the eyes on the feathers, they also look like a comet and a debris tail to me. The trajectory of the comet and the perihelion point, the point closest to the Sun in the Peacock constellation. The Sun in the celestial Golden Gate above the southern crown, Corona Australis, the wreath, the victory crown laid up, the crown of righteousness laid up for us at the end of our race. Paul speaks about that in the letter to Timothy. This is where K2 is station. So this is the moment when it's closest to the Sun, December 19th. And here we have that Stephanus crown, Corona Australis, the crown of righteousness being laid out. So this is the midnight hour marker in the year, the darkest days of the year, both physically, and what we see now is that the spiritual darkness is increasing a lot too. And from the chapter we covered in the previous video, Isaiah 60, we know that in the greatest spiritual darkness, we are called to arise and shine. So we have spiritual darkness, we have the forerunner to the groom coming to its greatest elevation the coming week. We have this potential K2 comet and the cry of the peacock. We're going to read later that has to do with a shaking and inducing fear. So we have all the markers for the midnight cry in the heavens. So because the comet is below the horizon, I just removed it on Stellarium so you can see where it is situated at the moment of perihelion. Of course, the flying peacock looking just like a comet and the debris tail. Don't think that's a coincidence. After its close approach to the solar bridegroom and mirroring its location in Pavo, K2 may issue a peacock's loud cry at spiritual midnight to awaken the foolish from their slumber and shake the wayward and the lost out of an even deeper spiritual sleep. In between Pavo and the Sun, we saw that heavenly wreath, Corona Australis, marking the end of the believer's race. If you'd like to read more about that, you can pick up this previous article. Paul makes reference to this crown in 2 Timothy 4:8. We can find general scripture references to the peacock in chapters pertaining to King Solomon, and as well as Job 39:13. So the general references related to the peacock is that of riches, splendor, beauty, having eyes round about, and of course there's a connotation of pride and a fleshly appearance as well. Job 39:13 speaks of the goodly wings of the peacock. And the word goodly to me also resonated with the almond tree, the model of the menorah, the tree of life, and of course the menorah has a direct tie-in to this season of the Maccabean Hanukkah as well. K2's encounter with the sun. From second Passover, the blood moon in Libra onward, we can see the trajectory of K2 from the foot of the cross in Aquila's left wing. So we saw the E3 comet, the Aquila comet, originating from the right wing. This one originates from the left wing, into the constellation Pavo, or Pavo, where it draws closest to the sun tomorrow. K2 pan-stars. Underneath the Northern Cross Cygnus at the foot of the cross, underneath the wing of the eagle, the left wing, entering into Ophiuchus, disappearing underneath the horizon, into Lupus, into Ara, the judgment altar, and now entering into Pavo, the peacock. The alignment with the sun and the ugly mugs of Zelensky. And our Prime Minister Rutte, whose name actually really strongly resonates with a rotten mark. I'm sorry, can't help myself. A shaking to align all eyes. Now watch and listen in the video below how, prior to the peacock's tail opening and his loud cry being issued, an actual shaking takes place, after which all the eyes of the comet feathers align properly, resonating with Haggai 2's 9th month prophecy of a shaking coming prior to the desired sun and the onset of judgment. And of course, the references to Zerubbabel being given the signet ring, which is the type of the bride. A second witness, Isaiah 26, verses 17 to 21, resonates strongly with the December 17, 21st time frame also, as he speaks of believers spiritually resting in their chambers amidst overpassing indignation at the onset of judgment as the Lord comes out of his place. So we have two stations in the heavens where the Lord actually rests at the summer solstice and the winter solstice, and he comes out of his place. But the winter solstice is the end of the circuit. A loud cry, remember, is noted at the time of deliverance, just like the groomsman's call to the virgins in Matthew 25, verses 6 to 13. The time of deliverance, the crying out of the woman with child with the testimony of the Lord. Verse 20, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place. The winter solstice is the sun's winter resting place, as well as a marker for spiritual midnight. Is coming out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. Matthew 25:6. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. We're so familiar with those verses. The majestic display of the peacock, him opening up his feathers, a shaking. And when you don't expect it, he's going to cry. course, you can listen to the rest by clicking on the article. The bride, the branch, and the harvester's son. Just prior to K2 reaching perihelion in Pavol, the thin crescent or the veiled moon aligns with Spica in Virgo and Arcturus in Bootes above, the harvester or herdsman. He has a sharp sickle in his left hand, resonating with Revelation 14. The angel coming out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. So we have a couple of sections in the heaven where a sickle is displayed. Of course, the head asterism of Leo is an entire sickle, the head and the chest of Leo, but this is also an important marker of Bootes, the harvester or the herdsman, and the moon aligning with Spica, the first fruits, and Arcturus, tomorrow. We also discern that asteroid Ceres, the grain brought forth, or Jesus brought forth, is a witness to the lunar alignment of with Spica and Arcturus. If we then count 3 to 5 days from the proposed conception in Haggai 2:9-24, knowing that it takes 3 to 5 days for a fertilized egg to be implanted in the womb usually, and the womb is associated in Scripture with a barn or the heavenly storehouses. This may provide us insight regarding the prophetic timing of the seeds of faith entering the heavenly Jerusalem in the last days of Kislev as well. So we have asteroid Ceres, and in aligning with Zavi Java, the gloriously beautiful, in Virgo, we have the moon being birthed out of the upper body, aligning with Arcturus, the harvester, Bootes, with the sickle in his left hand, the staff in his right. This is where the Aquila comet is now the floating jewel in the northern crown. So this is the third drawing on the heavenly blackboard. It's like the Lord writing with his fingers on the blackboard of heaven. V2, a camel ride to the king. Comet C, 2020 V2 ZTF, traversing the constellation Borealis from December 12th to tomorrow, December 19th. Just like Rebecca's final wilderness wanderings on her way to meet Isaac. The comet originated in the constellation Comet Berenices. That is where the man-child is hidden. So the mother seated with a toddler on her lap. That is a direct tie back to that momentum when the Parthian kings, the Magi of old, found the Lord. So from December 12th to December 19th, we can see the traversing of Borealis by the comet. And then from its onset in Comet Berenices, the comet traversing through Ursa Major, we now know as the Big Bear. Biblically, it is Elijah's wagon, the larger sheepfold. Through the dragon's tail. So the great red dragon, that is the follow-up of the Revelation 12 sign, casting down a third of the stars. The comet from the tail of the dragon will enter into Borealis, December 12th to December 19th. To then enter into the king constellation Cephas below. Upside down as we speak, but nonetheless. So, thanks for watching and a blessing on your day.